One Fight Night 25 took place yesterday from the legendary Lupini Stadium in Bangkok, Thailand at 2 a.m. South African time. We saw the Immortal reclaim his legendary two-sport championship status. All this and more coming up next on Fighting with Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fighting with Friends, the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. Speaking of champions, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today the reigning, defending, undisputed vegan champion of the world. That is, of course, Brother
Guy. What's up, bruv? What's up?
OG,
Fight week is going.
bruh. Fight
Fight
week is
week is
definitely
going.
in full effect here, bruh. So yeah, we witnessed a hell of a card last night. Well, in the early hours of this morning, South African time. So as always, BG, we're going to start at the top of the card where, like I said, we saw the immortal Reagan Eersel reclaim his title against Alexis Nicolas. So BG, epic
Yes,
fight.
sir.
I think both fighters had their chance to kind of dictate the tempo in this fight, and it was definitely a back and forth. But from your side, BG, what did you see here?
Firstly, like you said, I couldn't disagree more. Epic fight for the main event. These guys were thrown from the first minute. But there were some significant differences from the first fight that made that Reagan reclaim his title. And that was that he didn't allow for Alexis to land too many of those leg kicks. He did land the leg kicks. I had to watch the fight back again just to refresh, obviously, to make sure that I wasn't, uh, 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 making the wrong decision when I said that Reagan Israel was going to get it back. And how he got it back was that he switched his stances way more than what he did in the first fight. So that he never really allowed his front leg to be chewed up the way it was in the first fight. And also he was much better in the boxing exchanges. He didn't also allow Alexis Nicolas to dictate too long. I think it was only the third round where Alexis sort of came back in the fight and wasn't allowing himself to get bullied that too much, because Eersel was really like putting it on him, landing slick 1-2s with that right hand, and then landing some amazing knees, jumping knees, and then he was landing some really cool deep kicks, which was keeping his distance, and he was forward pushing that first 2 rounds. Then the third round came, and then I felt that Alexis came back maybe from like from the last minute onwards in that second round. Like he was really starting to hold his own. Then you could see his leg kick started to land a lot more, especially that calf kick. And then round 4, it was very even for me. It was very difficult to sort of give. I wanted to give it to Alexis to make it go 2-2 into the fifth round, because that would have been epic. But it wasn't really, because it could have gone to either one. That's how close that fourth round was. And then in the fifth, I think Eersel did enough to get the job done. I think he looked very different in the sense that he wasn't chasing too much like he did in the first fight. After he got knocked down in that first fight, he was headhunting a lot in the first one to sort of get the knockdown back and get his dominance. But Alexis was too slick in that first fight. In this one, I think Eersel dictated the pace from that first 2 rounds, and I think it was a sort of an uphill climb from there for Alexis in the fight. He never really could set his rhythm. He was on the back foot for the most of the fight, and Eersel really had he was coming out on top in the exchanges when they got close when they entered the void and started staying in the pocket and throwing. I think Alexis did land. He was throwing some good body shots. He did land some good right hands. He had Eersel rocked a couple of times. So there was one time we had him rocked, but it wasn't necessarily enough. He never really had Eersel going backwards enough to say, listen, I actually stole that. Well, I got that round. You know what I mean? I think if I would score round by round, which they're not doing it in the one championship, I would say 4-1 to Reagan Eersel. I think round 3 was probably the closest one I would give Alexis. Yeah, maybe you got that one. You could actually argue it and win that argument that you won the third. But I think Eersel's footwork showed why he was on such a massive winning streak coming into this fight before, and why he is the immortal dude, why he is the two sports. I mean, this guy is elite. I mean, when I watched him from 2019, I was like, oh, who on earth is going to beat this fella? He's just so creative. very aggressive, and he also utilized his length a lot better in this fight than what he did in the first one. Again, like I said, Alexis never had a moment where he could really have a rhythm and say, okay, now I'm piecing, I'm selecting my shots, I'm making Eersel look and have to send, and change up his strategy. Eersel was just bullying him down and staying on the front foot for the most of the fight, and it was still competitive because, like I said, it wasn't like Alexis wasn't landing anything. He was just like it didn't impact the same way it did in the first fight. I think Eersel was just
Mm.
like, yeah, I'm gonna get my title back, and it was a good display from both guys. Honestly, good display.
Yeah, it was a great fight, like I said. I mean, the thing that struck me immediately as someone who didn't watch the first fight, was that I thought that Nicolas was definitely the better technical striker. He has a lot better technique, when it came to the exchanges. But
Mm,
Ursel's pressure, um, and yeah, like you said, he was on the front foot. He didn't give Nicolas any chance to breathe. But I did think that when I was watching it, the way the first two rounds played out, I thought maybe
mm,
Nicolas is just hanging back and checking. Maybe like from round three onwards, he can't keep up the pace for the whole fight, man. And
mm,
somehow he
mm,
didn't manage to keep that pace, but he managed to do enough to not get hit. And
mm.
like you said, Alexis Nicolas did give a good showing of himself in the third round.
Yeah,
Could possibly give that to him. But yeah, like you, bruh, I don't think he did enough on the night, and the correct decision for me.
yeah.
So BG, do you see this
Yes,
going
so.
to a trilogy, or is this the last we'll see of these two?
Honestly, that I haven't seen anyone in the one championship this far do push Ursel to that kind of pedigree of a fight, like beating him, dropping him like that in the first fight, and also like holding his own. Because look, Ursel did land a lot on him and a lot of power shots, but he never really dropped Alexis in this fight, and in
Mm,
and in the first one, and Alexis took the shots. He got rocked, but I mean he was defensively sound and he was able to stay in the fight and never really like I said, he didn't go down. He didn't take the knee, and that speaks volumes for me. So I wouldn't be surprised if they run it back and have a trilogy. It would make sense. But Reagan Ursel did say at the end of the fight that he wants to defend his Muay Thai title. So let's see what the one championship gives him. For me personally, either or. Honestly, I would love to see Reagan be able to defend both simultaneously. And as it stands right now in the lightweight division, because Reagan Ursel was fighting middleweight before he came down to lightweight, which you can see his size. I mean, how big he looked in this fight was insane. Um, Alexis has given him the best run so far. The best opponent that he's had so far has been Alexis Nicolas. So if no one else steps up, they probably would give it to Alexis next. The trilogy fight would be the next money fight for the two of them.
I mean, I'd like to see them fight again. I thought it was a very good matchup stylistically,
Yeah.
and I'd just like to see Alexis Nicolas be a bit more aggressive, obviously, in the first few rounds,
Mm, mm.
to really make a fight of it. But yeah, great fight again, and yeah, well deserved to the Immortal reclaiming his status as two
Yeah.
sport champion. Okay, BG. So we were speaking about Muay Thai. We're gonna go to the lightweight, a
Mm-hmm.
lightweight Muay Thai bout here, where we saw Youssef Assouik defeat Sinsamut Klinmee.
Mm-hmm.
Klinmee. And Brad, to be honest with you, I've said this to you already, but for me, controversial decision here, bro.
Mm.
What are your thoughts here, bro?
Yeah. I love that sound effect. Also, just before we go into it, I just think that Hagen Erschel's fighting name is the best, brother. Immortal is so sick. But yeah, coming into this one, at first glance, I was like, it's a questionable decision because Sinsamut definitely was the one that was pushing the pace, and he landed for me. A lot of the damaging shots came from him, especially in that second round. But then I watched the fight just before we went on to our recording again, just to run it back. And Yusuf definitely won the first round. I think he was the
Mm,
one that was popping the shots. He
I'll
stole
give
that
him
first
that.
round.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
same.
was he was he was doing that for sure. But then in round two, he lost the round. He lost the second round for sure. Sun
Hmm.
Tzu landed some amazing body shots, and he was the one that was constantly on the front foot in that fight. He never really got pushed back at all. Landed some good body kicks as well. And yeah, like I said, the power shots was more significant on Sun Tzu in that second round. And in the third round, it, w- it was it, I can see why the judges gave it to him, but then again, it was more of the same of the second round. Since Smith was the one who was pushing the pace again. He had
Exactly.
Yusuf on the back foot against the ropes. Again, landed some body shots. He chased him down with some head shots as well. Youssef was cleaner, but everything came from the back foot. He never really had a situation where he had Sinsamut like struggling. He
Mm.
wasn't. Sinsamut was picking the pace. He was picking where the fight needed to go. He had him against the ropes in the ring, in the corner of the fight. Sinsamut was one that was really pretty much dominating that third round as well. And I just think why they probably gave it to Yusuf was that they looked at he landed the cleaner strikes from because a lot of Sinsamut wasn't really like damaging other than when he was actually hitting into the body and going down to the leg kicks and maybe shooting for the eye kicks as well. But how do you score against that is my question. It's like this man was really the like you know what I mean. He was the one who was winning the third round as well. Like he never got rocked. He didn't take any damage really. The shots came from the back foot from Yusuf. Um, so how do you really score against it? So I would have scored it 2 rounds to one for Sun Summit. So I can agree with you as terms of a robbery after watching it back in the second time.
And unanimous as well, eh?
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird thing. And that was his debut also, Yusuf Assouik's debut. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I'm shocked that the result went that way. I really am.
mm. But anyway, nonetheless, Assouik getting it done on the night, early morning for us. But do you see this guy as a prospect in the one championship, guy?
Mm, I don't know, eh? He's tall. He's very tall. He's very tall, eh? But I watched some guys in the Friday Friday fights. 82 that took place the Friday. 83 it
The,
was 82.
the other Friday card, yeah.
Yes, that took place, and there were some Russian fighters, and I can't get to the name now. I'll run it back again, and I'll get to it. But there were some Russian
Um,
guys that fought in that division, that fought lightweight, that are just as big as this guys. Probably taller than Sun Samit and Yusuf, and I feel like they looked a lot better than both Sun Samit and Yusuf.
mm.
So I'll get those names again, and I'll probably just chat about it when we do our UFC recording tomorrow, just as a touch base. But um, In a nutshell, I don't actually see him as a hot prospect right now. I think that if he's fighting Muay Thai and Regan Eersel is the champion in Muay Thai in that division, well, I think Regan Eersel sleeps him first round.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Yeah, for me also, bro, it's difficult to say when a guy wins on a controversial decision like this.
Mm,
To give him props, but
yeah,
yeah, for me, I personally didn't see enough. And even if you just use the Friday fight card as a metric,
yeah,
I think the level's just gonna be too high for him. Yeah, but yeah, maybe he improves and grows his game, and yeah,
yeah,
maybe he
yeah.
can make a good run at the one championship. But yeah, not for me.
You see, you
And yeah,
see, you see. Eddie, sorry to interrupt you, brother. The thing
sure.
with Yusuf is the fact that the one championship gave him Sun Summit as his debut fight is that the one championship. You see, the one championship wants to actually almost catapult Yusuf. You know what I mean? Because he's giving him a very high ranked opponent as his debut. You know what I mean? They
Mm,
could have put him in the Friday fights as a debut event instead of a fight night event. You know what I mean?
definitely.
They could have done that instead they put him on a big card like this and then they give him a high profile fighter in Sun Summit. Is telling me that one championship has got plans for Yusuf.
Mm, mm. Well, look, they obviously know better than us. Well, better than me anyway. This was the first time I've seen the man fight. So, yeah.
Mm,
But again, just if I use the earlier fight card as a metric for the level at one
mm,
champ, I don't see him as anything special. Let's say he might be a mainstay in the division, but I don't see him
mhm.
making a run at the title. Especially considering the level that we saw in the fight before this. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's not the same.
yeah. Any final thoughts here, BG?
Uh, Robbery. Let us know in the
Robbery,
comments. I think it was a
robbery,
robbery,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can justify as to why you thought Assouik won that fight in the comments, we'd be very interested to hear it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For real. But anyway, BG controversial decision there, but there was one fight where there wasn't a controversial decision, and that was, of course, our boy John
Mm-hmm.
Lineker once again
Yeah.
showing why he is the hands of steel against Alexei Balyko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just absolutely frightening power, bro. But yeah, tell us what you saw there, BG. You're sending us videos here, something past 3 this morning, making sound effects. Tell people there, bro.
I actually forgot I was making the sound effects, but I was just like, I was so amazed by the combinations and hand speed of John Lineker. And just to correct there, he's the OG poet and it's Hands of Stone, John
Hands of stone.
Lineker.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
sorry, sorry. Yeah,
He had it first in the UFC before the Poetan we know today. Um, but John Lineker, dude, the hand speed that now that he's fighting in Muay Thai and he's not having to worry about being taken down anymore. It's like it's almost like he's just found a whole new level
he's free,
of
bro.
ability. He's free, yes. It's like
He's
now I can
free,
fight the
bro.
way I wanted to fight. You know what I mean? And listen, and Lexi is no like pushover. He's a high ranked, high level opponent in the bantamweight. Like if he had won this fight, he would have been able to go up and say, "Listen, Jonathan Haggerty, give me Lobo, give me maybe Nabil. He can go at some of the top names in this division." But John Lineker went in there and landed 3 beautiful knockdowns in the first round. And pretty much from the first second, he had Alexei pushed back. He had him going backwards, and he landed that first left hook, left over the top. Alexei was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then when he was going to
Yes.
the body, the way John Lineker goes to the body and then sets it up, and then goes up. It's so fast, dude. Like Alexei was trying to, he didn't know what was happening. I mean, he tried to fight back. He threw some body kicks to try and get in there, but I didn't do anything. Before you know it, it took like a minute and 20 seconds. John Lineker had this guy on the ground twice. And then
Yeah.
the third left hook was like you could see it was a sleeper because Alexei's body just went like. You remember those toys that you push the button underneath and it just collapses those characters. And if you let go of the button, the character goes up straight again, like the body comes full. But if you push it, then the character basically falls to pieces. It's pretty cool. That's basically what happened. He just became like lifeless with his body, how he looked. That's how intense that knockout was. John Lineker, bonus $50,000, well deserved, absolutely insane knockout. And then also at the end of the fight, trying to call out Rotang was just just mad. He's absolutely
Jeez.
mad because he's fighting bantamweight and Rotang is flyweight. It's just you know what I mean? Who's gonna make weight? Who's going down? Who's going up? Kind of thing. It does
Yeah.
make for an intriguing fight, but I think because he's in bantamweight, John Lineker puts himself in the position where he can call out some of the big guys like Jonathan Haggerty, for example, Nico
Mm,
Carrillo, maybe. Yeah,
mm, mm.
pull up dump.
Yeah. I mean, every time this guy fights, we always in awe of his power. But brother guy, one thing I wanna kind of mention is I remember in his last fight you were mentioning that he'd be a lot more effective if he started utilizing more of his limbs. And
Mm,
I did see a few leg kicks from him in this fight, which I
mm,
was very
mm.
happy to see. But yeah, again, if he can start
Yes,
to implement the full array of weapons in the Muay Thai
yeah,
sport, I think he's going to be a hell of a problem for anyone in
of
this division,
course.
bro. Maybe even the divisions around him, because the
Yeah.
power is unmatched, bro, and it's it's scary, bro. Honestly,
No, no, no. It's
uh,
frightening.
like you said, the moment Alexei got hit, you
Mm.
could see, bro, he was like, nah, this isn't right, bruh. Something's not right about what's happening here. They said he was powerful, but nah,
Yeah,
this is not what I expected, bruh. Even and that you could see from there, he was just fucked up, bruh. He didn't know
yeah.
what to do. Like he was moving
Literally.
around. He started moving around a lot more, and he did manage to. I saw it in one exchange. He kind of managed to slip and rip and get out of
Mm,
distance. And I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe this man's got it. But then John Lineker landed the next body shot, and it was just like,
mm.
nah, this man is like, he's demoralized, bro. When he felt the power, he was like, nah, this is not the sport I want to play anymore, bro.
Yo, no, it's insane. The way you describe it, and I'm just rewatching it in my head. It's exactly like that. You could see Alexei just backed up and was like, "Holy shit! Like, what is
Yeah,
this, bruh? What am I getting hit by?"
hands of stone, bro. Hands of stone,
Yo.
absolutely. But yeah, shout out to John Lineker once again, getting it done. Oh man. All right, BG. Any final thoughts on that one before we talk about?
um, yeah, I know. Like I said, I know. He said he called out Rotang, but I think he just needs to stick to the bantamweight right now. Let Rotang take on Takeru. Let him dominate the flyweight division, and then like wipe out these bantamweights, man. Because I do think Jonathan Agnew and Nico Carello for a long time have been bullying this division by their size. They're weight bullies. They're massive for the size, especially Nico Carello. Go at these dudes. Now builds a fantastic kind of puzzle for someone like John Lineker to fight. That will be an insane fight to
That
watch.
would be mental, bro.
You know what I mean? There's cool up
Yeah.
down. There's a lot of good bantamweights that he can take on before pulling out someone like Rodtang. And then yeah, I like you mentioned. I'm glad you brought it up as well. Is just keep leveling up the art of eight limbs. Even some elbows in the clinches. You know,
Mm,
in the clinch, he's very dangerous with his body shots. But imagine if he could throw some upward elbows in the clinch as well, because of his height. Oh, he'd be so insane.
scary,
So
scary.
as it stands, he makes for any fight that he's gonna get next is gonna be like one of those mouth-watering kind of fixtures for sure.
I do love that Nabil and Ane fight though, bro, because we saw Sulan struggle as like a shorter guy to get inside,
Yeah.
and I just want to see what the difference would be in terms of once Lineker touches him. Let's see what happens then. You know what I mean? Because yeah, this man
Yeah.
is power is unmatched. But yeah, okay. Shout out to John Lineker. Of course, a great friend of the show here at the CPS Reports. But
Yes,
BG,
sir.
let's skate now. And yeah, unfortunately, we need to talk about the strawweight MMA bout which took place before this, where we saw our boy, our countryman, and fellow South African Pokang Masunyane lose to Mansour Malachiev.
Mhm.
Yeah, again for me, controversial decision.
Mhm.
I, it was close. I understand that. I'm not saying it was robbery. I just and I might be a bit biased as well as a South African.
Mhm.
But for me, bruh, Bokang won the first round, Malachiev won the second round, Bokang won the third. It was pretty
Oh.
cut and dry in terms of who got the better of the exchanges in the third round.
Mhm.
Like Malachiev ended up on top at the end of the round, but
Mhm.
in as if you look at the round as a whole, I thought Bokang did enough to get it done, and I was very surprised to hear that he lost.
Mhm.
So from your side, BG,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also I'm moving bias aside because I didn't watch it with obviously bias. I would obviously wanted him to win because I was African, but I had to be like, let's just watch this fight. I put the sound off, watch the fight without having that sort of motivate your decisions or motivate why you scored in the fight you scored in it. But we also have to remember again, it's a weird thing. They don't score the fight by round; they score it by totality
uh,
of the 9 minutes.
yeah,
So we also have to understand how that works. But we have to I break it. We know we break it down round for round. And I thought Pakang won the first round clearly. Like he was the better in the wrestling exchanges. He was stronger in the clinch. He was able to whenever Mansour would reverse, Pakang would reverse back in those wrestling exchanges. And I felt that when they were in the clinch out in the open, what I thought Pakang did really well was that he would do the single collar tie and uppercut, and I would
mm,
actually get Mansour like he didn't want to be there. He didn't like it. And then when they were out in the open, Bukang didn't seem like he was any way discouraged by the length discrepancy. He was standing in his own. He was better in the boxing. And then in the second round, it was a little bit more even. I think Mansour came back in the second round. I think he established more with his jab. He threw some cool calf kicks and made Bukang switch stance a little bit more. But he still was going backwards. That was something I found very interesting. He was still going
mm,
backwards. Um, but I could see why they maybe scored it because he was touching Bukang up a little bit nicer and a little bit cleaner in that second round. Third round, again, I think Bukang utilized the clinch work, like up against the ropes, again single collar tying, throwing some uppercuts in there. And there was moments where he got rocked by Mansour, but there was moments where he also had Mansour going backwards and he touched him up again. But I think Bukang did a little bit more in terms of how many minutes he was one that was pushing the pace. I felt that he had more minutes in the second and he had more minutes in the third, although he got counted and got taken down at the end of that third round.
mm.
Um, so scored in it that way, but look at how the outcome was going, how the other fight was moving. I was like,
Yeah, bruh. I
Bukang,
mean,
Bukang was kind of winning it, eh?
I can even openly say Malachiev outstruck him on the feet, bruh. When it came down to
Yes,
striking exchanges, Malachiev was the best striker. But it's MMA, bruh, and I felt like Pokang used the tools of MMA to put a fight which on the feet wasn't in his favor. He managed to
mm,
turn it in his favor. And if you look at the damage at the end of the fight, bruh, who was bleeding?
yeah, exactly.
Not Pokang, bro. Not Pokang. So where does this unanimous decision come from, bruh? I really want to know. very confused with
Yeah,
this judging system, bro, to be honest with you. And it
me
might be
too,
a fact
Eddie.
that I just don't understand it. And that's
Yeah,
why because I was listening to the commentators, and the
yeah.
commentators were basically convinced that Malachiev had won the fight.
Yes, I
And
remember
I was like, what
watching
are
it
you
for the
guys
second
talking
time.
about, Mario? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, what are you guys talking about? But anyway, must be
yeah.
some kind of discrepancy in our understanding of how
The
they're
judging
scoring these
works.
fights. But
Yes.
yeah, I was very disappointed with this result, to be honest with you, bro.
Let us know in the comments with the Burmese, the Thai guys that are there. That bets on this, and you guys just give us a little bit more understanding about how it's judged when they say they judge the duration of the fight rather than because in terms of duration, are you breaking that duration down in like who has the most damage in time in that time, like who's actually pushing the pace longer over that 9 minutes? Like, how do you score it? Like, what's the criteria? They say it in the beginning, but they say the most number one criteria is their damage. But then if that's the case, Bukang should have then got in the fight.
Exactly, bro.
You know what I mean?
There's no metric that he loses that fight by for me, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
striking,
yeah,
but it wasn't a striking match. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
was an MMA
yeah.
match, and he
MMA
out
fight. Yeah,
wrestled the man from Russia, bro. Give this man
yeah,
what he deserves, bro. Come on. Now you want to
yeah. I
rob him
was
like
blown
that?
away. Yeah. So now what happens is Bukang probably loses the number two rank.
Of
Mansur probably
course,
goes
yeah.
up to number three maybe, and then Bukang will probably come down 3 or 4.
Mhm. Yeah. Unlucky Bokang, but yeah, I'm sure you'll keep fighting for the country of South Africa and for us
Yeah,
here at the CPS
dude.
reports.
I think he's gonna be champ soon. Honestly, I didn't think he lost that fight. I think he beats Iroba Manua, who was on Minua was supposed to fight on this card. I think he beats Joshua Pacquiao. I think if he rematches Jared Brooks, it'll be a different fight.
Mm, mm. Yeah, he looked very good on the night, and like I said, I'm very disappointed with the result. But yeah, shout out to Masunyane.
Mm,
We'll of course be keeping a close eye on him and supporting him from our desks here at the CPS reports. But okay, BG, let's
hmm.
keep moving, and we'll go to our next fight here, where we saw a flyweight Muay Thai bout. We saw Johan Estupinan
Yep.
knock out Zakaira Al Jamari. So yeah, I didn't see this one, but you said
Yes.
that you'd like to get into it. So yeah, bro, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I would love to. It was an explosive fight. Again, they were supposed to be on the undercard. These two gentlemen got shifted up, and it was an amazing fight. Good idea. Johan Estupinan is now, I think it's 4-0, or was 5-0, but he's 4-0 in the one championship now. And he's just knocking out people, dude. He's just super explosive, very creative. The panda kick, he's just an absolute dog. Zakaria is a good opponent. I felt that if he gets past Zakaria, then he's definitely going to make a good case to go and fight some higher opponents in the flyweight division. And we know who's in the flyweight division. We've got the likes of Tanzin, Takeru, Rodang. Excuse me. Yeah, Rodang does sometimes come down. We got uh, uh, um, Super League as well that sometimes fights in this division. So we know that Johan can go up and make a shout to take on some higher level guys. But the other fight played out was beautiful. I thought that what I found amazing about Johan in this fight is that he's starting to show more composure. He's starting to show more taking my time and picking my shots, not rather than just going there and overwhelming opponents with the pace and doing all this video game kind of moves. I felt that he had to be a lot more patient because someone like Zakaria can put people away. He's got power, he's got good boxing, so he had to be more patient. Because Zakaria clipped him in the first round early, where he was dizzy, but Johan stood in there and then got clipped again in the second round. But then after that, Johan just started overwhelming him with the barrage of strikes, jumping knees, push kicks, deep kicks. The deep kicks to the body is what kind of ended the fight for me because Zakaria couldn't come back from that. And then he just landed a beautiful, because he switches on so well, a beautiful, was it the right uppercut and then the left straight dropped Zakaria. Zakaria was still laying there. He was trying to talk to the ref, but you could see he was like, he's not going to be able to get up, bro. He just wasn't going to make it. And that
Mm,
just puts him now at 4-0, another bonus. And then also, what I found amazing was that Johan's got a twin brother. I forgot his name now, but he's got a twin brother that was in his corner who is also going to apparently make a one championship debut soon. So looking forward to that. But all in all, just a amazing fight. I think you should go watch it back. 80. It was really explosive,
mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, look, if I can find the time in our busy schedule today, we do of course have UFC a bit later this
Yes.
this evening. So yeah, I'll definitely try to get around to it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, priorities are currently with the UFC as soon as we're off this recording.
Mhm.
But yeah, any other final thoughts on that fight or the card as a whole here, BG? I know you said a few
Uh,
fights were pulled from the card. Maybe you
yeah,
could
there were three
elaborate a bit
fights.
more.
I don't know. I'm gonna look more into it as to why they got pulled. I only noticed it when I woke up to watch this fight, and I looked at it and I was like, "Hey, the card looks different." And I realized
Mm,
there's some fights pulled. So I'll look more into it and maybe do a video on that as to why those fights got pulled. But the rest of the card was amazing. I think Daniel Williams against Banma Dioji was a very good fight. That was the opening card. That was also MMA, and it was also Daniel Williams' second fight in MMA, coming from Muay Thai and kickboxing. I thought he did really well. Tong Poon against Roy Patolo was also exciting fight back and forth. Roy Patolo did really well, navigating and not necessarily being in range to get hit by the power of Tong Poon. So he did fantastic. And then the ladies that fought on the card, Amy Perney was a debut. She was undefeated, I think, in 22 fights coming into this versus Sheer Cohen. And beautiful fight as well. Sheer Cohen held her own, being the smaller fighter. She was able to navigate the power of Amy and also just be the more advancing fighter and overwhelm the strikes and unanimously deserved to win that fight. So in all, amazing performances and amazing fight card
mm.
overall.
I mean, yeah, as expected with the One Championship. So yeah, shout out once again to the One Championship for putting on another. And yeah, give thanks, brother Gaia, for all the insight regarding the fights lower down on the card, keeping the people up to date as per usual. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have made it this far into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Every little bit counts. We are currently scratching and clawing our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we're extremely happy if you could help us make that happen. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, but yeah, thank you very much for the support. We do also need to just give one more shout out to Myanmar. I know I did give a shout out to Myanmar on our previous video, but yeah, we have been receiving quite a bit of engagement from Myanmar. So thank you guys so much for the support as well. BG, any final thoughts here before we wrap up, bro?
Yeah, again, just like you say, many thanks to the support of all the viewers out there, and also like the engagement in the comments is what we love. We love to be in
Absolutely.
contact and be able to talk to you guys about the fights, and hopefully we can make it going to the point where we can get you onto the show and be part of the panel at some point. It'll be amazing, and yeah, looking forward to doing the UFC with you, 80. It's gonna be a liquor one.
1,000%, bro. And yeah, we of course will be bringing you our recap of the UFC in the near future, possibly tomorrow afternoon. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts so much for your support. You do us a favor and have a wonderful weekend. From myself, BG, all of us here at the CPS Reports. Have a good one. We're out. Goodbye.